Hi, this is Dr. Metcalf. Welcome to week 2. You had a really good week last week for the most part, and it was a kind of a easy introduction slide into what education is all about. And you looked at ways that other teachers have influenced your lives, and I'm going to talk about that in a different video on your feedback for that. But we found, quite a few things that good teachers do and have, and things that they don't. And, you talked a lot about your calling to be a teacher. And so I thought it was a really good introduction week, and it was good to get to know you. Now this week, we're going to be focusing on the history of education in the United States, as well as your philosophy of education. Now, this is really early in the course to do the philosophy of education, but I want you to understand a philosophy of education is something that is going to be part of you and with you your whole professional teaching career and life. Whenever you go to apply for a job, you will have to give them your philosophy of education. And so I put it early because I want you to really start thinking about these things as you go through the rest of this course and as you go through every other course that you're going to take. You're going to see in a minute the sections of the philosophy are divided into topical sections. For example, one is classroom management, one's diversity, and you're going to have whole courses just on those topics. So you're going to learn a lot and change. So I would suggest that as you finish each course in the program, that you go back to your philosophy of education and maybe tweak it. Go to the section that you just learned more about and maybe revise it, and so that you will have an up-to-date philosophy of education. Okay, that's just my thought. I know we get busy and best intentions and things like that, but that's the best way so that when you are student teaching and have to rewrite this for your resume or for applications and things like that, that you won't go, oh, what did I learn? What was that? I know I did something about that, but it will help you as you go. So if you can keep it, saved somewhere front and center, that you'll be able to do that. Okay, so let's go through the assignments for the week, and I'm going to hide myself. Here's week 2 and chapters 4 and 5 in your text. Please be sure you are doing your reading because your final is going to use heavily the information in your text, and it should go along with the information for the week. Okay, your activity checklist. You have 2 PowerPoints this week. One is on the history of U.S. education. And again, be sure that you look at your PowerPoints in presentation mode so that you'll be able to access links. Now, we don't have an assignment specifically on the history of education, but there probably will be some questions on the final. All right, your philosophical foundations of education. This is the PowerPoint that goes with it, and I would look at that, and I think it talks about these as you go through it. Now, these are resources for you, so I would strongly suggest you take, after you do the reading and after you read the PowerPoint, then take this quiz. It's a self-assessment, you can see, that talks about philosophies, and it will score you. Okay, here's the scoring guide, and show you kind of on the major types of overall philosophies of education, like humanism and perennialism and things like that. It will show you where you lie, and that would be really interesting. And then this continuum chart. Okay, these are the different philosophies and talks about the people. This is a really good one to keep. You might need it in the future in Ed Psych or somewhere like that. But these are the different kinds of philosophies and the proponents of the different philosophies. So you might want to just read through that. It's just a good resource for you. And the philosophy interview, this is more just for your own, your own benefit. So you might want to talk to somebody that you know. These learning theories, you're going to see them again in EdPsych, and you will see some of these other things again. So you want to just hang on to these. You don't have to do this. This is just if you, for example, if you're working right now and teaching, you might want to just chat with your supervisor about it. Like if you're in a preschool or something, about some of their own philosophies, because that helps you get your own thinking clear. All right. Okay, then this is instructions for how to submit to Chalk and Wire through Moodle, which is what you will do. You will submit your philosophy of education to Chalk and Wire. This shows you how to do it. All right, you don't have to do anything with it, just that shows you how to do it. Now, these are some standards that all of our courses in this program follow these standards. This is called the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEYC, and that is your SPA. It's called. A SPA is right here, not a place you go for a massage, but the SPA is your Specialized Professional Association, and every licensure area in education has a SPA. So there's a middle childhood one, there is a science educator one, there is a social studies educator one. So there's SPAs for all the different licensure areas, and there are standards. And so all of our courses, if you look back at the very beginning, let's see, let me go back here, where in your syllabus there's I'll show you. You probably just scrolled through there because I do that. Okay, see these course objectives and these standards here? So all the objectives of our courses are listed here on the left, and then we align all of those objectives with different standards. So the Ohio Standards for the Teaching Profession, our own conceptual framework. We have diversity standards, and then your SPA standards, okay, the NAEYC standards. All right, so that's right there how they're aligned. Okay, so that's important. You probably will not use it as far as opening them, but I would open them, I would save them in a folder somewhere, because different courses that you have will come back to those, and you just need to know about them. NAEYC standards, those are your SPA standards, the National Association for the Education of Young Children. All right, now the assignments and forums, these are the things that you need to submit. Your week 2 devotions. This is your philosophy of education assignment. This is where you submit it. You submit it here, and you submit it on Chalk and Wire, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, it should be 5 to 7 pages in length, and it will be evaluated based on the rubric, which I'll show you in a minute. Please be sure that your content, your spelling and grammar are good, because your grammar and your spelling are going to be judged by your parents and your principal and other teachers in the building, so they need to be good. So be sure you edit. You can use the grammar and spelling thing in Word that helps you edit it, or you can have someone else look it over for you. Okay, so you must submit it there. And here's the template that you can use. You can type right on it, and you can do a save as, and then save your name, and then just include your information right on there. Okay, so it's all set up in APA for you. So in red here, this is where you just need to put your name in there and the date. Okay, and then these tell you what needs to go where. Okay, so you're going to need to delete this. You have an introductory paragraph, which should include a hook or a sentence to grab attention to identify what you'll be discussing in the paper. It doesn't have a heading or anything like that. You indent 5 spaces. So if you just do that and then start typing your introduction, that should work. Then each of these things in highlighted, these are the different sections that you need to have. So you want to keep the highlight part. And then after it tells you what you need. So you need more than one, and why the purpose of education, why what you said is essential for education. Student diversity, 3 or 4 examples of how you will adapt or differentiate. Differentiate's a word you're going to hear a lot of. That means to change or to tweak your teaching style and methods, strategies, materials in order to meet the needs of all your students. Classroom management, teacher dispositions, student learning, student basic needs, how curriculum impacts students, and it tells you, what you need here, and then a conclusion at the end. So it should be at least 1 paragraph on your conclusion. Then your references, you need to have at least 2 references besides your textbook. So here's your textbook. You can use the PowerPoints, you can use articles that you found, you can look online, those kinds of things. Do your best to put them in correct APA. All right, so that's the template that you should use. And here is the rubric. Okay. So just go by that. And this OSTP, the Ohio Standards for the Teaching Profession standards, that this part of the rubric matches. Okay? And this has to do with your chalk and wire submission, the reflection on the artifact, which I'll show you in a second. All right, then this shows you how, this is where you submit to chalk and wire. And up above were the instructions. Please watch them because they're very thorough, very detailed, and Cindy Harville does a really good job with that. And then this also walks you through in writing how to do it. Okay? So be sure on this form reflection that you complete all of it. And be sure when you type in my name, it's Sharon Metcalf. There's also a Steve Metcalf, that's my husband, and he does not want to receive your chalk and wire assessments. Not that he wouldn't enjoy reading them, but so that is this week. Okay, so you have your devotions, and then you have your philosophy of education. Now, the philosophy of education I would start working on, or at least thinking about it early, because your paper, your final paper submitted here to Moodle and to Chalk and Wire is due on Saturday, but your discussion forum, which is right here, is I want you to post a summary of your philosophy of education. Now, what this can be like if you take your quiz, the quiz on the different philosophies that you had, perennialism, individualism, humanism, progressivism, those kinds of things. You can use that. If you've already started writing your paper, you can add some of those things in. But this would be more based on the PowerPoint and the quiz that you do. Okay? And that's just a 1-page summary of what your philosophy is, how you felt about it, your reflection on it. You're going to be doing a lot of reflection, and this is a good place to start with that. Okay, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the Ask the Professor forum. And other than that, I hope you have a great week.